So are you yourself an animatronics thing that you sent?
There have been rumors that I am a life model decoy, but I assure you,
I don't
I
believe
am
you.
100% organic.
I think you cooked yourself up in the lab.
Yeah, this is the next generation of me.
The day Grant Imahara would have turned 50, his mother dropped a bombshell that stunned Hollywood. A secret foundation he'd planned before his death. Within months, it sent student experiments to space, created an AI-driven robot that shocked MIT, and built an animatronic version of Grant himself. But the biggest surprise wasn't what the foundation did. It was what Grant knew would happen all along. This is the story of his final, most brilliant experiment. Grant Imahara was born on October 23, 1970, in Los Angeles, California. His parents were Japanese-American, and his full name, Grant Masaru Imahara, showed his connection to both American life and Japanese traditions. Growing up in the 1970s and 1980s, he lived in a time when computers were just starting to change the world. His parents noticed how curious and smart he was, so they gave him toys to learn with and supported his studies. They taught him to work hard and focus on education, values that helped him succeed. Los Angeles, with its mix of cultures and Hollywood's influence, gave him exposure to both technology and movies. He loved watching special effects in films like Star Wars, which later became a big part of his career. Even as a little boy, Grant wanted to know how things worked. At just 3 years old in 1973, he started taking apart his toys. He didn't stop at breaking them. He also put them back together, sometimes making them even better. His parents might have found it frustrating at times, but this habit was important for learning how to solve problems. He spent hours figuring out how small parts like gears and springs worked together. He later joked about always ending up with extra parts after putting things back together, which showed how playful and curious he was. When Grant got his first Lego set, it became his favorite toy. He used the blocks to build all kinds of things, from simple structures to more complicated machines. Legos taught him how to break big ideas into smaller pieces, a skill that helped him later in engineering. By the time he was 10 years old in 1980, his Lego creations were very advanced. He didn't just follow the manuals, he learned from them. This early experience helped him understand how to read and create complex designs, which became useful in his career. In 1988, Grant went to the University of Southern California, USC, to study electrical engineering. This was a big step in his life. The classes were tough, and he had to learn about many technical subjects like circuits and microprocessors. He worked hard and did well, but by 1990, during his junior year, he started feeling unsure about his future. He wasn't sure if he wanted a typical engineering job, and even thought about switching to screenwriting because he loved movies and storytelling. At this difficult time, Grant went to talk to a counselor about changing his major to filmmaking. Switching wasn't easy because the program was very competitive. But then the counselor introduced him to Tomlinson Holman, a professor at the School of Cinematic Arts. Holman was famous for creating the THX sound system for Lucasfilm. This meeting changed everything for Grant. Holman's work showed him that engineering and entertainment could work together. Inspired by this, Grant decided to work for Holman as an unpaid assistant. This was a big moment in his life. Holman became a mentor to him, showing him how his love for technology and creativity could combine. The experience with Holman reignited Imahara's passion for engineering and paved the way for an internship at Lucasfilm's THX division at Skywalker Ranch. This happened right after he graduated from USC with a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. His skills and enthusiasm stood out so much during the internship that THX immediately offered him a full-time position. From 1993 to 1996, Grant worked as a licensing engineer. His job involved stress testing loudspeakers and audio equipment to ensure they met THX's strict standards. It wasn't just routine work. This role allowed him to mix his engineering knowledge with his passion for cinema. At the time, THX was transforming how people experienced sound in movie theaters, and Grant played a part in that revolution. But his time at THX wasn't just about technical work. Grant also had a surprising role that added some Hollywood flair to his career. He occasionally dressed up as C-3PO for Star Wars marketing events. This unusual opportunity saw him appearing on The Oprah Winfrey Show and even meeting the Los Angeles Lakers in character. These moments were a sharp contrast to his work with circuits and equipment, blending creativity with engineering in an unexpected way. In 1996, Grant's career took an exciting leap when he joined Industrial Light and Magic, ILM, Lucasfilm's world-renowned visual effects division. This marked the start of a 9-year period during which he worked on some of the most famous movies of the time. His role at ILM began with a shift from audio engineering to model making and animatronics. His first big project was on The Lost World, Jurassic Park, 1997, where he created miniature lights that helped bring the dinosaurs to life. It required innovation and precision, and it was just the beginning of what he would accomplish. At ILM, Grant's expertise in electrical engineering became crucial for creating detailed models and animatronics for blockbuster films. He worked on the Star Wars prequels, including The Phantom Menace, 1999, Attack of the Clones, 2002, and Revenge of the Sith, 2005. His work included designing and building the electronic systems for various props and models, helping to bring the futuristic world of Star Wars to life. One of his most notable projects was modernizing the electronics of R2-D2, ensuring the beloved droid could perform flawlessly in the prequels. His contributions didn't stop there. Grant also worked on The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, both in 2003, as well as AI, Artificial Intelligence, 2001, and Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, 2003. In each project, his skill and creativity helped bring cutting-edge effects to the big screen. One of the highlights of Grant's career at ILM was becoming one of only 3 official operators for R2-D2. This role wasn't just about technical expertise. It required him to give the droid life and personality through its movements and sounds. Grant operated R2-D2 both on set and at events, ensuring the droid remained consistent and believable in every appearance. This role was highly exclusive, and it reflected the trust ILM placed in his abilities. Fans around the world came to know and love R2-D2, and Grant played a vital role in making that happen. Beyond ILM, Grant also left a mark on popular culture with his work on the Energizer Bunny. In 2008, he helped redesign the famous mascot for Energizer, creating 3 new robotic bunnies packed with advanced technology. He built custom circuits that controlled the bunny's movements, which included beating its drum and raising its arms. Each bunny had 12 motors, allowing for precise and smooth actions, and they were powered by 44 AA batteries to highlight Energizer's message of long-lasting energy. Grant even operated the bunny during commercials and live events, ensuring it performed perfectly every time. Grant Imahara joined MythBusters in 2005, and his journey started with a surprising phone call from Jamie Hyneman on April 15th. The show needed someone with strong engineering skills and experience in Hollywood special effects, and Grant was the perfect fit. At the time, he worked at Industrial Light and Magic, contributing to movies like Star Wars and The Matrix. At first, he wasn't sure about leaving his secure job, but the idea of bringing science and engineering to a big audience convinced him. He officially joined the build team on May 1st, alongside Carrie Byron and Tori Belleci. On his first day, he was tasked with building a robotic arm to test if someone could be sucked out of an airplane toilet. This challenging start set the tone for his time on the show, where he built complex machines under tight deadlines. His skills, especially in robotics, quickly stood out. His first full episode aired on June 8, 2005, where he created a remote-controlled car to test if a toy car could drive alongside real traffic. Over his 9 years on the show, Grant participated in 208 episodes and helped test more than 850 myths. He created many iconic builds, like the mechanical shark in 2007, which was a 12-foot-long robot that took 300 hours to build and could mimic a great white shark's bite. In 2008, he made a paintball machine gun capable of firing 1,100 paintballs per minute to test myths about using paint defensively. He also built a robotic dog in 2011 for a competition against a real dog. One of his most ambitious projects was a mechanical humanoid in 2010, a life-sized robot that could wield a sword to test sword-fighting myths. He also created smaller, intricate devices like the butterfly effect machine in 2013, a complex setup of dominoes and triggers to test chaos theory. His last major build for the show was a functional jetpack in 2014 that allowed a person to fly short distances, showing the limits of what could be achieved on the show. Grant's close friendship with Carrie and Tori was a big part of MythBusters' success. They spent long days filming, and their bond extended off-set with regular game nights and barbecues. He and Tori often competed to create the most impressive builds, like their robot wars during lunch breaks in 2009. Grant was also known as the geek translator, making complex science easy to understand for both the audience and his teammates. However, the high-pressure filming environment sometimes caused tension. During the Titanic survival episode in 2012, Grant and Carrie had a heated argument about testing hypothermia, but resolved it quickly. The build team worked separately from Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman most of the time, which occasionally made Grant and his co-hosts feel like they were seen as second-tier MythBusters. Grant left MythBusters in 2014, along with Carrie and Tori, shocking fans. The producers wanted to return to the original format with just Adam and Jamie, partly because of budget cuts. The show had grown expensive, costing over $1 million per episode by then. Grant also wanted to explore new projects, like developing a robotics competition show. The demanding schedule of filming 40 weeks a year had taken a personal toll, causing him to miss family events, like his sister's wedding in 2014. Creative differences also played a role. Grant often pushed for scientifically accurate experiments, which sometimes clashed with the producer's preference for dramatic setups. During the motorcycle flip episode in 2014, this tension came to a head when Grant wanted a controlled experiment, but the producers opted for a more visually exciting approach. Contract negotiations in July 2014 were the final straw, as the build team was offered less screen time and lower pay, leading to their decision to leave. Grant's work on MythBusters had a huge impact on science education. During his 9 years on the show, viewership rose from 1.6 million in 2005 to 2.8 million in 2010. Teachers loved using the show in classrooms, with a 2012 survey showing that 68% of science teachers used MythBusters content. Grant also attended events like the USA Science and Engineering Festival in 2012, where he inspired thousands of students. In 2013, he helped create the MythBusters Science of Sports traveling exhibit, which toured museums and reached over 1 million visitors. He mentored underrepresented students in STEM, including a robotics team in California, from 2006 to 2014. One of his mentees, Maria Rodriguez, went on to study engineering at MIT, crediting Grant as her inspiration. He even co-authored a book in 2011, MythBusters, The Explosive Truth Behind 30 of the Most Perplexing Urban Legends of All Time, which became a popular resource for schools. Even after leaving the show, Grant stayed dedicated to promoting science and inspiring future generations. Grant Imahara was famous for MythBusters, but his life after the show was just as exciting. In 2015, Grant joined Disney Research, where he worked on something amazing called Stickman. This robot was 7 feet tall and could do backflips and other aerial stunts. It was groundbreaking. Stickman wasn't just a cool project. It was the start of Disney's Stuntronics, the robots used in theme parks around the world to make characters move in realistic ways. Grant's work changed the future of theme park entertainment and showed how advanced robotics could be used in creative ways. That same year, he surprised people by becoming a spokesperson for McDonald's. He joined their "Our Food, Your Questions" campaign and used his scientific background to answer questions about McDonald's food production. He visited their factories and suppliers, explaining the processes and tackling myths about fast food. This role showed another side of Grant, reaching people outside of his usual tech-focused audience. Grant's creativity also took him to unusual places. In 2018, he made a fully animatronic robot of Mark Zuckerberg for the Haters Roast comedy tour. The robot could blink, move its mouth, and turn its head. It was lifelike and hilarious, blending robotics with pop culture. The Zuckerberg bot became a viral hit, proving how Grant could mix humor and technology in a unique way. One of his most memorable projects was creating Jeff Peterson, the robot skeleton sidekick for The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. On March 1, 2010, Ferguson joked on Twitter about wanting a robot sidekick. Grant replied, saying he'd build one if Ferguson could get him 100,000 Twitter followers. Fans made it happen in just 24 hours, and Grant got to work. He spent weeks building Jeff, who debuted on April 5, 2010. The robot had a metallic mohawk, a moving arm, and a removable jaw. Grant programmed Jeff with funny phrases, voiced by Ferguson himself at first. Over time, Jeff got upgrades. In 2011, Grant gave him a second moving arm, which made him even more expressive. Later, voice actor Josh Robert Thompson started providing live vocals for Jeff, making him a fully interactive character. Jeff became a fan favorite, appearing in over 1,000 episodes. One unforgettable moment happened in 2012 when Jeff malfunctioned during an interview with Rashida Jones, creating a hilarious exchange that went viral. After leaving MythBusters, Grant reunited with Carrie and Tori for a Netflix show called White Rabbit Project, which premiered on December 9, 2016. The show explored science, history, and pop culture in exciting ways. One of Grant's standout experiments was recreating a Nazi-designed helicopter backpack called the Himmelstürmer. He spent over 200 hours designing and building it using modern materials and 3D printing. Although it didn't achieve sustained flight, it lifted him a few feet off the ground, making history as the first real attempt to bring the idea to life. Another amazing project on the show involved recreating the 1971 D.B. Cooper skyjacking. Grant and the team used laser scanning and virtual reality to simulate the Boeing 727 plane used in the crime. They created an exact digital replica of the plane, testing theories about how Cooper might have escaped. The level of detail was incredible, even replicating the weather conditions on the night of the crime. Grant also built a working exoskeleton for the Superpowers episode. The device let a person lift up to 200 pounds easily. It wasn't just a prop, it was real, costing over $50,000 from the show's budget. Despite these ambitious experiments, White Rabbit Project was canceled after just one season in 2017. The team had already planned more experiments, like recreating Leonardo da Vinci's tank, but those ideas never came to life. Grant also had a surprising career in acting. He played Hikaru Sulu in Star Trek Continues, a fan series that continued the original USS Enterprise's mission. Grant, a huge Star Trek fan, studied George Takei's original performance closely. He even reached out to Takei for advice, and Takei gave him his blessing to play the role. Grant also used his engineering skills to improve the set, redesigning the helm console and creating a working communicator prop. One unforgettable moment happened in 2016 while filming the episode Still Treads the Shadow. A pyrotechnic effect malfunctioned, causing a small fire. Staying calm, Grant put out the fire without breaking character, showing his quick thinking. Beyond Star Trek Continues, he appeared in Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no! As a NASA technician in 2015 and voiced Sulu in Transformers: Titan's Return in 2017. He also appeared in the web series The Guild as a rival gamer, showing his comedic side. Grant Imahara loved helping young people learn about robots and engineering. In the early 2000s, he started mentoring a high school robotics team called the Biomechs from Richmond High School in California. He worked with them from 2002 to 2006. This wasn't just a hobby for him, it was something he cared deeply about. Grant spent hours with the students, showing them how to design and build robots for competitions. He even stayed late at night in their workshop, helping them fix problems and improve their ideas. His hard work paid off when the team won a big award, the Chairman's Award, in 2004. Grant didn't stop there. He wanted more people to know about the first robotics competition and how important it was for kids to learn about technology. He used his fame from MythBusters to get more people involved. He spoke at events and encouraged engineers to become mentors. Students loved meeting him, asking questions, and hearing his advice. But Grant also wanted to help schools that didn't have enough money to join. He worked hard to get sponsorships for teams in need. He also inspired girls and students from different backgrounds to join, making robotics more inclusive for everyone. In 2019, Grant started a special project to make children in hospitals happy. He decided to build an animatronic Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. He worked on this in his free time and spent over 500 hours building it. The Baby Yoda could move its ears, blink its eyes, and even respond to people. Grant used 3D printing to make its face look perfect. He worked with a friend to create realistic skin, which took 20 tries to get right. The Baby Yoda could even recognize faces and emotions, making it feel alive and comforting to children. Jon Favreau, the creator of The Mandalorian, heard about Grant's Baby Yoda and visited his workshop. He loved what Grant had made and offered him a role as a consultant for future seasons of the show. This was proof of how talented Grant was at creating amazing things. In his personal life, Grant had a fun and loving relationship with Jennifer Newman, a costume designer. On December 7, 2016, he proposed to her in a big, nerdy way. He surprised her at what she thought was her birthday party in front of 250 guests. He got down on one knee and gave her a beautiful vintage ring he had picked out. She said, "Yeah," when he asked her to marry him. They had been dating since 2011 and shared a love of cosplay, sci-fi, and creating things together. They kept most of their relationship private, but shared a few moments from their adventures at Comic-Cons and maker events. On the evening of July 13, 2020, Grant Imahara's life ended unexpectedly and tragically. He was just 49 years old. At around 9 p.m. Pacific Time, Grant was having dinner with his girlfriend at their Los Angeles home. Suddenly, he felt severe pain and dizziness. Within minutes, his condition got worse. His legs became numb, and he stopped responding. His girlfriend called 911 at 9:12 p.m., and paramedics arrived at 9:23 p.m. When they got there, Grant's condition was already critical. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors quickly discovered he had a brain aneurysm. They performed emergency surgery at 10:45 p.m. to try and save him. Sadly, the damage was too severe. At 11:49 p.m., Grant Imahara was pronounced dead, just 102 days before his 50th birthday. Grant's death was a shock to everyone. He had no known health problems and no warning signs before that evening. Just 2 days earlier, on July 11th, he had been working on a Baby Yoda animatronic project, which he planned to use to cheer up children in hospitals. His last social media post, made on July 12th, was full of excitement for future projects. His sudden passing left his family, friends, and fans heartbroken. People struggled to understand how someone so vibrant and full of life could be gone so quickly. After his death, tributes poured in from all over. Social media, TV networks, and the scientific community all came together to honor him. The Discovery Channel, where Grant had worked for years on MythBusters, aired a special 20-hour marathon of his best moments on the show. This marathon, held on July 17th and 18th, drew an average of 1.5 million viewers, with a peak of 2.7 million during prime time. It showed how much Grant's work meant to people. Friends and colleagues shared stories about his kindness and brilliance. Actress Olivia Munn, who worked with Grant on Attack of the Show, shared a heartfelt Instagram post on July 15th. She remembered how Grant spent an entire weekend helping her build a Comic-Con costume, asking for nothing in return. The robotics community honored Grant in special ways. The first robotics competition, a global high school robotics event, announced that its 2021 season would be dedicated to his memory. They also created the Grant Imahara Memorial Scholarship, which gives $10,000 every year to 5 aspiring engineers from underrepresented backgrounds. Fans also found unique ways to remember Grant. A Change.org petition started on July 16th, asking NASA to name a feature on Mars after him. It gained over 100,000 signatures in just 3 days. On July 30th, NASA explained they couldn't do this due to naming rules, but announced they would name a research lab at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, after him. One of the most touching tributes came from Grant's former students. He had mentored the Richmond High School robotics team, and they shared how much his guidance meant to them. On October 23, 2020, which would have been Grant Imahara's 50th birthday, something unexpected happened. Just 102 days after his sudden death from a brain aneurysm, his mother, Carolyn Imahara, and his closest friends and colleagues gathered online to announce the creation of the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation. This came as a surprise because it had been kept a secret during the months of mourning. The launch included a 47-minute video celebrating Grant's life, showing never-before-seen footage from his childhood and early career. One of the most touching moments came when Don Bies, a close friend, shared that Grant had talked about creating a foundation like this just weeks before he passed. Grant was deeply concerned about the lack of diversity in STEAM fields and wanted to make a real difference. The timing of the announcement was meaningful, as it marked 27 years since Grant graduated from USC with a degree in electrical engineering. That same day, USC's Viterbi School of Engineering announced they would name a study lounge after Grant, setting a $50,000 fundraising goal. In just 24 hours, 317 donors raised $37,842, showing how much Grant meant to so many people. The Foundation's mission is to inspire and empower underserved youth in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. But the way they work toward this goal is truly unique. The Foundation has partnered with 17 Hollywood special effects studios to create hands-on workshops for students who don't usually have access to these kinds of opportunities. One program, called Imahara's Imagineers, lets students work with animatronics experts to build their own robots. In 2024, a group of high school students from South Central Los Angeles unveiled an animatronic version of Grant himself. It could even deliver motivational speeches about STEAM education. This robot, which took 8 months and